All right, everybody, welcome back to the SAGED Wrestling interview with Brandon McCrone, man, from Ohio State, late Catholic high school graduate. Looking to take 125 here at Ohio State next year. I'm thinking, huh, my guy, you feeling good about it?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. It's nothing's for sure, but I'm training hard in the room, and I'm progressing a lot. So just trusting my coaches and trusting in my training that I'm doing. This summer, the summers have always been where I've made my biggest jumps for wrestling, and just got to keep jumping. Everyone's always getting better, and if you want to stay with the competition, you got to keep getting better. So that's what I'm trying to do this summer.
Ah, bro, it showed that U.S. Open. If it doesn't, if nobody, if anything's going to show who you are and what you are, is whenever you go to the U.S. Open and you literally wrestle yourself back to the third and fourth place match. What was it? 9 matches you had to come back and to
Yes,
get to
sir.
third and fourth. Yeah, dude, that's it speaks volumes for who you are and how you're built. And it was awesome to watch. It was, man, because I I watch every single one. Like on Flow, you can click on everybody that you're like interested in, and so like it kind of updates you on when you guys are coming up and like what mat you're going to be on. So like and after like the match six, I'm like, dude, this kid's a dog. Like
Thank you.
he
I
don't
appreciate that. I
quit, man.
appreciate that. No, it
So
was
it
it was something. It was a really good experience. It was for freestyle. I've never been a crazy freestyle wrestler. It's never been big with my wrestling. I've always trained it and done it because my high school coach was real big on it, and it was always something that he believed in. So I always trained it, but I wasn't crazy with competing with it, and it wasn't my favorite. But I did it this year because I wanted to get better, and I told myself that it was the best thing to do for me, and it paid off in the end. So
Yeah, absolutely. So like when did you how long you been hitting the freestyle scene? Like is this something like you've been all through high school or like is
so
it really hit at Ohio State?
it really hit for me like like how I did, like how I did pretty well. It only hit for me kind of at Ohio State. I went 5-2 at Fargo when I was a freshman, and then I competed at junior duels, didn't do too well there, and I didn't really compete freestyle my sophomore year or my junior year because of COVID. And then my senior year, I didn't really feel like I needed to, compete freestyle, which I was wrong about. I didn't feel like I needed to, but it would have helped me even more coming to Ohio State. But this year was kind of just a different year. Being on a redshirt year, one of my drill partners is Nick Buzakis. So from the second the Big Ten tournament was over, Coach Ryan had us drilling freestyle already. He wanted us to train freestyle, get ready for the freestyle season, and I was, if I was super pumped about it, and I think it could have been a lot different if I would have chose not to do freestyle this year, which was never in the cards. But if you know what I mean, yeah.
100%, bro. And I think I don't think you could be in a better room. And I mean, some people might want to argue with me about the Iowas, the Penn States, and they get the Cornells, and it ain't taking nothing away from them. But when you're looking at I mean, even Heinzelman this past year, Jesse, Nick, I mean, D'Amelio, like, I mean, you got some of the greatest training partners in both circles, freestyle, NCAA's. I mean, like I think you're in an amazing position, and it shows with the leaps that you've made. Like I remember watching you at the state tournament, and you pinned like that kid from Steubenville in the seat, like in the finals, and was like, man, this kid's on top. Like, yeah, in my opinion, like you on top. Like there's no other like that game it's definitely by far like they don't want you on top of them. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's unreal, and which is hard to see in college, man. Like I watched that one guy, I can't remember his name, from Minnesota. Jesse came across him a couple of
Uh,
times. Aaron Magno.
yeah.
Yeah, and he like the one that just transferred to Penn State, like, and
Mhm.
he's real tough on top. But like, I feel like you have those same traits that like he just dominates. Like, if if I'm sitting there with you and I got to toe the line with you, brother, I ain't going under you. I'll take that 1 point loss. Like I ain't getting under you. And it shows, man. It's just the progression, and it's been, and like I told you that earlier in the text, and with us talking before this, it's been awesome to watch the growth from your freshman year taking sixth place as a 4 seed, and then all of a sudden, going 41-11 as a freshman in Ohio, as impressive as it is. But to where you are now, like, and it's not even knocking your freshman. Like, I don't want it to sound like
No,
I'm
yeah, I know what
downplaying
you
it.
mean.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. What do you think has been the biggest part of that growth, like from your freshman year to where you are now? Which, granted, I know there's 5 years in between there, but what really like hit home and was like, yeah, I can run with any of these guys.
I think like it was a lot of my coaches believing in me. My freshman year when I first started off, I didn't believe I could beat those best guys. And one of my high school coaches, Ty Mitch, he was a 3-time high school state champ for Ohio. And he won Fargo. When he was in high school, he's a really good coach, and he helped me a lot my freshman and sophomore year. Build confidence in myself and believe that whoever I'm stepping on the line with, I can wrestle with. Um, so I feel like that's been a really big thing for me is the belief in myself, and I think trusting in my coaches, from start of the year to the finish and in the off season, you gotta. I feel like for me, it was always huge that I needed to trust in everything they were telling me. Like believe in what they were saying. It might not be exactly what you want to do, but whatever they're saying, trust in it and believe in it, and that's something that's important to me. My dad was one of my coaches, along with another like my high school coach, who I consider like a second father. He was
Yeah.
always trying to he was always trying to give me the best opportunities to succeed and to keep excelling in wrestling. So
Now,
honestly,
was that coach what Hibernon, or what was
Hivner,
it?
Hivner,
Hibner.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, but yeah, that means like a Jedi, bro. He everything he touched it, and he's no longer there anymore. If I'm correct, right?
he's not the head coach anymore, but they actually just hired Nate Sknesny, who's another young guy that's he's gonna bring a lot of guys to the program. And he's gonna be a good coach for us, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. But he left after I graduated as the head coach, or actually no, he was the head coach this year, one last year, and then he left for as a head coach. He's still gonna help out and stuff like that, but I was with him from when I was 6 years old, and for 12 years I was at Lake Catholic, training and going traveling to tournaments with him and traveling to tournaments with my dad and my brother and his son Cole. So it was always just believing in what they were telling me, and believing in the things they were saying, because if you don't believe in what the people around you are saying, that what they want best for you, then you're on your own pretty much.
100%, and I respect it, man. What are you, 20, 21 now? 20?
19.
You're 19 years old, bro. You speak like you're 40. I mean, like you're
Thank
an
you.
old soul, my guy. Like, yeah, it's a compliment. It's a
Thank you.
compliment, but it's just like with how your mindset is. I can understand why Coach Ryan wanted you there, and Stever and everybody else, Bo Jordan, Jaggers. Like, so I can understand. And to be honest, like there's a lot of guys. What's crazy is like you get big blue chips recruit, and like I'm talking the number one pound for pound guy or the number 10, 20, whatever the case may be, and they get to the college scene and it doesn't mesh. And it seems like you got there and it strides are made every year. I mean, whatever it is, it just seems to click for you. And I mean, is there something that, I guess, is that just everybody different, or is it just the amount of work somebody puts in? Like, because I've seen number one pound for pound guys come out of high school and not do well in the college game. Like, once they get to the college level, and then I watch guys like you that honestly flew under the radar till you show up at a camp. Tom Ryan sees you, he likes you, he likes what he sees. So next thing you know, if I'm correct, and then
Yes. Yes.
yeah, because like I said, I've done a good bit of homework on you, man, and it seems like you've really just adjusted well, and you keep that growth just keeps coming and coming. And what I guess, is it just how well people perceive it, like the difference in that number one pound for pound guy that didn't take to you, who's just growing every single time I see him step on the mat.
So for me, it was always just like growth. I always needed to learn how to grow, especially my first 2 years, in high school. And after my sophomore year, like when COVID canceled my tournament, it kind of was like almost a reality check for me. It was like, man, this is I can't do it anymore. Like I can't go and wrestle every single day because of COVID. It shut us down, and it made me realize how much I love the sport and how much better I wanted to get. So, it made me want to jump levels. It made me want to just, be a different person, on and off the mat. I changed a lot as a person as well. It made me a better person. It made me want to, it made me appreciate the people around me more. It made me appreciate the
Oh yeah,
relationships I had with my friends and my family. And, because you never know when they're not going to be there. You never know when you're not going to be able to see your
that's
friends,
it too.
kind of like how it was.
Yeah, like the sport that you've done since you were 5, 6 years old had just got pulled away from you over like a blink and an eye, and so yeah, I can respect the outlook on that. I really can because you're sitting there, you're grinding, you're doing your thing, you're thinking, hey, I'm finishing six as a freshman, going in as a 4 seed, having a phenomenal record at 41-11. You know what I mean? And 37-4 in that sophomore year, and then all of a sudden, boom, COVID hits. I mean, I mean, really, to be honest, you're looking. I mean, you could have been a state champ that year, top two guy for 3 straight years. So, I mean, I can understand how it would pull you back and maybe possibly discourage you, but instead you turned it into a positive. So I respect that, man, and I can understand. You're a Tom Ryan kind of guy. It seems like. I've done this. You're my third Ohio State guy, bro. You're honestly the first one didn't work out because I had some issues with the camera, but like, uh, you guys are all really built the same. So I can see the type of characters he goes after, and I like it. I mean, I get it. It's like a family out there. It seems like.
It's so yeah, that was one thing I was gonna make sure I touched on was in Lake when I went to Lake Catholic, I was there for, like I said, from when I was 6 years old to when I graduated high school. So for me, it was like a culture. It was the culture was huge. It was like, you know you, it was like my team was like part of my family pretty much. Like my coach was like I said, he was like almost like a father figure to me, who cared so much about me and wanted only what was best for me. I had my dad on the coaching staff. I had other, great assistant coaches, a great strength coach. I had a strength coach, Jimmy King, who went through Ohio State, great lifting coach. Then I had another coach that I drilled with almost every single day, which was his name was Dave Coates, another local high school guy. He was state qualifier. He was, and then my older brother, who was a great influence on me, who was a couple times state placer in high school, went to OU,
See,
graduated. So he was, he wrestled there. So
and
it
that's
was
Connor. That's Connor, correct?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it was just for me it was just those were very important for me, like that culture. And I feel like when I first talked to Tom Ryan after that camp, it was like, and I met with the guys, and I met the coaches. It felt like I was back at Lake Catholic. Like the culture, it felt like people cared about each other. You don't want to go somewhere where people are
Yeah.
just doing it as a job and not doing it to have fun. Like I think of wrestling here as having fun. You know what I mean? It's something I love doing. So
100%.
that's something that's huge for me.
Absolutely. Now, are you adjusting more to like, all right, so now US, like the US Open's over, World Team Trials is open or over there in Geneva, everything that went on. And now is it just strictly, hey, time to start grinding, let's get back, time to make this time to be the 125 guy? Because I mean, obviously, I'm not sure where Gonzalez is going and all of that, but like at the end of the day, brother, you're looking like the guy at 125 for Ohio State right now. And it's a huge. I mean, Malik did work for so long that I mean, it's a set of shoes to fill. I mean, you think you're ready? You ready to get after it and fill those shoes? And not even that you got to fill those shoes. I don't want to say it like that because you're your own man. He's his own man. But are you ready to step into that 125 spot? And
I 100% am. I made a lot of jumps over the last, the last year, and wrestling with these guys.
yeah,
It's only got me better. So, I just gotta, it's nothing's ever guaranteed wrestling on a team like Ohio State. There's always, there's injuries that can happen. There's other guys that can come in. So, I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm just, training my tail off, and, I'm working out 2 or 3 times a day, trying to, just keep staying in shape, and, running a lot, wrestling a lot, lifting a lot. Just got to keep trusting the process, and things don't happen overnight. So I just gotta keep at it, and hopefully the stars align.
yeah. I got a feeling that they're going to, big guy, and I know that. I mean, like you said, with guys coming in, the Kilkiris, anybody else that they chase down, but you keep growing like you're going, brother. I see a bright future, man. I really do. I mean, well, even when you look like here as an entire, I mean, last year, I mean, you can still consider it a red shirt, correct? Because like even though you went to the Blue Raider, you went to the Michigan State Open, you go to the Bob DeLau Rosa, and honestly, you win the Michigan State Open, you win the Bob Del Rosa, you go to the Blue Raider and I believe and won it, and then at the Clarion Open, you take second place to Jack Forrest, which is a freak in his own right. So I mean, you had a heck of a red shirt season. Like, uh, I mean, all together, unattached and attached, I got 15-5, brother. And like that's to jump straight from high school to where you were to that. And then sit here and do what you're doing in the freestyle world. Whatever you're doing, man, keep doing it because I, I see nothing but success coming that way.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I'm just doing what I can. Just gonna keep working and working and working and working. So hopefully things fall into place. And it's I'm a team guy, so whatever's best for the team. And I'm just gonna hope that that's me.
And that's one thing I believe, man. You don't gotta do too much conventions. It's just little 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of talk. And I can I can see that's the type of man you are. And that's honestly what I feel most of those guys are. Like you it seems like you can see you look at this transfer portal, which I absolutely hate. That me personally, I'm not sure how everybody feels about it. Just like as an outsider and a fan, like I sit here and I look at it, and it's like when I view it, it's like, man, you committed to that school, love that school, make it your school. And even if there's some bumps along the roads and like say a younger kid comes in and beats you out, then just grind hard through that next off season and come back and take that spot back. Like don't like say, hey, all right, well, I can't make it here, so let me switch over and I'm just throwing let's go to Edinburgh where I know I can start at 125 or Penn or wherever the case may be. And it's like how does that make you better in any way? So I'm not a big fan of the whole transfer portal thing, but I guess it's something new, something to get used to. But it seems like you guys all seem to like very few have I seen jump in there since that whole deal started, and that's awesome because clearly y'all love where you're at and love that school, love that program, and that's awesome.
Yeah, like I was saying with like the culture thing, like I think that one, a main reason for that, like you were just talking about, like that nobody wants to leave, nobody's entering the port or anything like that, is it's the coaches, it's the teammates, it's the people that you can tell people care about you. You can tell that if I'm I had an incident happen last summer with my family, and when I told Tom Ryan, it was like he was nothing but wanted to know how my mom was, wanted to know how my little brother was, how
Yeah,
my family was dealing with that incident. He cared so much about me and about my family. You could just tell, and he made it vocal. All these everyone cares about each other here, and that's huge for me. Is I think of Tom as someone I really look up to, is how he treats people, and that's something that's huge to me. Is the way the coaches treat us. They don't treat us like we're kids here doing a job for them, like trying to be the best wrestlers on the team. Because we have to. They're doing it because they're doing it for us because they want us to be here. You know what I mean? They want to be in the room with us, watching us grow and watching us try to chase our dreams. So it's cool to see.
absolutely, my man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely like where your head's at with it. Now, come this so freshman year we take sixth as a four seed. I mean you got I know I know you're looking up at that wall every day and seeing all those state champs up there at Lake Catholic and from Kavon Frazier to Anthony to just everybody and really wanting to be up on that board right there with them, right? And whenever you get that sixth place finish, then you have a COVID year, your sophomore year. Where's your senior year? I'm sorry, your junior year. You're heading into it. Like, what's that mentality? Like, all right, I got 2 more years to get this figured out, and I just, I as a freshman still placing sixth, brother. You're in the state of Ohio. You're a dog, dude, when you're doing that. Then you get hit with that, and then your junior year. is possibly even a more weirder year because you have the state tournament, but it's in this run down like, and that's no disrespect towards the school, but it's like a run. Like, this it couldn't have been the same feeling as that state tournament that you were at your freshman and senior year. There's just no way. But how do you work through that to still end up at second place that junior year?
It was a weird year. Like I said, that it was holding me back training after the tournament was canceled. But we managed. We had like racks in our garage and dumbbells, and we had my strength coach from high school come over, and it'd be me and my brother and other guys from my team that would want to be there would show up, and we would run through lifts. We'd be outside blaring music with loudspeakers, just like boys time, getting better, getting stronger, doing it when no one's watching, like doing what we can to stay in shape and keep getting stronger. So that was one thing that was huge. Offsite facilities, going to as many as you can, trying to, ones that, aren't exposed and all that stuff. And, just trying to do whatever you can to just keep it rolling. You don't want to stop. So
Yes, sir.
it was a weird summer going into it. And then, you know, my junior year was pretty much all dual meets until leading up to sectionals and districts and states. So it was a little bit different, but we managed, we got through it. Yeah, it was, I mean,
Yeah,
it was a good year. I mean, wasn't my result I wanted at the end, but it was a great season.
yeah, but at the end of the day, when you really look at it, I mean, as a junior, you finish second place in the tournament. You go 42-3, and I know it wasn't that same feeling being held at what was it, McGungrow High School or McGurner or I did not
Marengo.
Marengo High School, and then you lose 5-3 in the finals to St. Vincent St. Mary's at Clayton, and Clayton was, I mean, buddy, you had it. I mean, that's and it's not like you sat there and got worked. It was 5-3. You know what I mean? Did you ever meet him previously in the year before coming up to it? Like, was that your first time meeting Clayton? Was it in the finals that year?
So I actually met him in my home gym in January. So he was originally a 26 at the beginning of the year, and then he cut down to 20, and he was kind of a big 20. And then when I wrestled him in my home gym, I kind of went into it with a mindset like kind of just like I wasn't nervous, but I wasn't my head wasn't in it. It wasn't nerves. It was more just like kind of like, well, all right, like I wasn't. I get really fired up before matches. I get really excited and fired up and ready to go. And it was kind of like that match. I wasn't exactly fired up. It was kind of just like, oh, all right, like it was a weird feeling that I had before the match, and it wasn't right. It didn't feel like how I wrestle or the mindset I have going into a match. And I went out there, and he took me down twice in the first period. It was 4-2 at the end of the first period, and then he got out. Then he took me down again, and then I got out, and then I chose top in the third period. So then I wrote him out the third period. I lost 7-3. So it was just I was trying to get a turn or something like that. So it was just it was a match that I needed. Knowing that he was going to be the guy I was going to see at the end of the year. It was a match I needed to see and understand how I was going to try to attack to beat him. And towards the end of the year, it was the same thing at the state finals. He took me down twice in the first period. Then he kind of coasted. He was super strong. He probably was pretty heavy wrestling me in the state finals. He was pretty big, and I wasn't exactly that big that year for 120. And he just got those first two takedowns that were crucial, and he kind of rode those for the rest of the match, and that's kind of how he beat me.
And then you jump into your senior year, and I can't imagine your mom, and your dad, Mr. Jim, and uh, or Mr. Jim and Mrs. Jen, just they got to be proud of you and both Connor being a two-time state placer, you being a three-time state placer with the state championship. So man, they got to be. I hope my son, he's only 2 right now, so I got some time. But if he does what y'all do, I'd be happy, man. And even your senior year, you go 37-3, and and then after that, like so you get this, you go to that camp. Tom Ryan likes what he sees, and then you get a part of this recruiting class. And how's that working out with the Mendezes, the Fellmans, the Bouzacases, the Shoemates, the Geogs? Like you guys are pretty close knit. Like It's that freshman group that just finished up their first year. You guys pretty tight as a unit.
Oh yeah, we're all like, I mean, we're all super close. Like, like I was saying before about like family. How I look at them as like my
Yeah,
family. Like they're all like my best friends. Like one of my roommates is freshman too. His name's Carter Chase. I don't know if you've
yeah,
the
yeah.
state champ, and he hurt his knee at the beginning of the year, but um he was we're all really close. We're all like best. I mean, like I'm real good friends with Nick Feldman, Nick Buzakis, Carter Chase. Like we're all really close. We lived in the dorms together, so we were with each other all the time. So that was another thing that was big for me is when I got here, it didn't feel like I didn't know these guys. It felt like I knew them already. Like it was something that was like a one of a kind kind of friendship. Like you run into all these guys and you're kind of nervous going to college and all those things, and they pretty much they don't take you under your wing, but they which I'm trying to think of the words for it. I'm trying to think of how to word it, but it's they welcome you with open arms. There's everyone's a great friend to me, and I look at everyone on the team in a different way as my friend. You know what I mean? And in their own different ways, and how they help me get through my days, and how they help me. How they motivate me to get through the next. So it's something special.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exciting to hear. Like, cause I mean, with what Mr. Coach Ryan and Bo and Logan and everybody down there, Mr. Jaggers, I just feel like you guys really. We've watched Penn State win for all these years. Actually, I was just saying this to Ryder Bogotsky, and it was like, man, I really feel with what's coming in and what you guys brought in last year, and Rocco Welsh and Rogotsky and even Brock Herman. I mean, like this is going to be one special team you guys are building, man. And then the fact that to hear you guys are as close as you are is it, it makes it exciting for an Ohio guy to sit here and be like, hey, this is going to be fun to watch for the next couple of years, buddy. Yeah, we're definitely excited for it.
Yeah, I think Buckeye Nation's pretty excited to see it. I mean, someone like Nick Feldman, who didn't really get to show himself a lot this year, show how he's going to look in an Ohio State singlet. He's only been training and getting better and closed doors when people aren't watching. He's I mean he's gonna come out and he's gonna be a monster. I mean, I truthfully believe that he's one of my good friends, and I believe in the work he's putting in. I believe in my teammates, so I think it's gonna be something special. As you saw, Jesse Mendez's freshman year went pretty well. So,
Oh man, that kid's something special. But you know what's crazy is honestly when I watch you, like there's a lot of similarities between you two. Like always kind of running back to the center. Like you, him, and Dylan D'Amelio remind me a lot of each other. Like you guys are very rarely are you just like, all right, hey, you go out of bounds. You might be down 6-3, 7-3, and like how some guys are like, damn, and there's 30 seconds to go, but like you guys Dylan's really great at it, but it's a sprint back to the center and like, let's go. Like I'm not stopping till this is over. And whatever mentality they're pushing to you guys to make you do that, it shows like these boys ain't stopping until that whistle is done. And I think that's what's going to make you guys fantastic.
100%. That was always something that my coaches believed in high school. That always be the first one back to the center.
Yeah,
Always be that's controlling the pace of the match. And that's definitely something I need to keep working on. Obviously, as you watch college wrestling, it's all. I mean, it's not all on your feet, but a lot of wrestling. I mean, most 99% of wrestling is on your feet, and
absolutely.
especially with it being a 3-point takedown. Now,
What do you like about that? Do you like about? I just had this. I asked Ryder about this too. What's your opinion on that 3-point takedown?
it's definitely going to be different. I in high school a lot would get taken down first, and then it would almost be like a rude awakening. And then I'd be like, all right, well, all right, we're good. I got taken down. It wasn't every match, but like if I was wrestling a good kid and I got caught in a bad takedown, oh, there's 2-0. All right, I'm back to my feet. It's 2-1. All right, now we're like, what I mean? It's like it was like a trigger that would get me going. But
Yes,
you
sir.
can't go down 3-1 right off the start of the match. So it makes you really think like how much more methodical and your thinking has to be going into that match. You got to get that first takedown. It's crucial.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's it's an awesome way of looking at it. And uh, there because like honestly, when you look at it, a lot of people are back and forth with it, and I think they're having more trouble just being like so many years of everybody like last second take on two like, and it is going to be adjustment to be like three, I think
Yeah,
three, you know what I mean? So it is going to be a little bit of adjustment, but at the end of the day, I think all right, you go out there, you take a guy down 5 times, 10, and I just feel like and he gets you should be up by more than 10-5 like because you just owned this man for an entire period and you're only I mean heck one move feet to back you're you know what I mean like you're right where you're tied you know what I mean and so I was just a big fan of it for to a point but at the same time if it don't work what's nice is they can always change it back
for
but
sure.
what did you like about what did you think about the riding point one? The only one out of the 14 rule changes, one of them doesn't, and it's the riding time, which I feel like plays into your game a lot. Like it does play into your game a lot because in my opinion that's your best position and like not and that's not to like I said, I don't want you to think I'm taking anything away
No,
from
yeah.
your neutral brother. You're a dog on top, bro. Like it's just how good you are on top. But did you like that? Did you want him to pass it to where it's like, hey, you don't get your riding time point unless you get the turn? Or was you happy with it staying the way it is?
So I think that riding time is like was one of my one of the things I was looking forward to the most going into college was because I'm pretty good at just riding people on top even if I don't get a turn. And
Yeah.
like if you go back and watch my state finals match, like that kid wasn't doing anything. He wasn't trying to move, but I just kept breaking him down and kept slowly and slowly, itching away at, getting a turn. And then finally I locked up my cradle and, the rest is history.
Oh,
But
once you got the bicep, I knew it was over. I was like, and it was deep. It
oh,
was deep.
that was always, if I got that big of a bite on someone's arm in high school, the match was always over.
Yeah.
It was always a big thing. Like, I learned to crossface cradle when I was a sophomore from one of my coaches, and I could always hit cradles before, but that was like when I really took off with it. And I was always good on top, but that being able to cradle someone from almost any position on top was huge for me.
Well, you definitely did it, buddy, and on the biggest stage that you could in high school. So it was awesome because honestly, like we, I'm not far from Steubenville, so we were kind of like, man, who's this Steubenville kid, a freshman, and then uh I didn't even realize he made it to the finals. And then like I was like, well, he's in trouble anyway, because I already knew about you. So what it boiled down to was he got a heck of a tournament for the kid, but I mean he just a little too much of a handful when it came to the finals. And like you said, he was kind of laying flat, kind of not doing much. Like, but honestly, I feel like it was probably because he was like, "Yo, if this dude gets my arm, I'm in trouble." With me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
Kind of like that Spencer Lee effect. Like, ah, don't let him touch me because if he does, I'm in trouble.
For sure. Like it was, you could tell the kid kind of went in with a game plan and, what like he's supposed to. Like I wrestled him earlier in the year and I had no offense to start off the match and I was kind of just waiting. And I got a takedown. I won the match like 5-0 or something against the same kid because I just was like comfortable with getting, barely beating him. And then, knowing I had the kid and I could take him down whenever I wanted to, that first takedown was huge. The kid, I think he personally mentally broke right there. Was he knew that he could, he was the
Yeah,
best beat. So once he knew that he couldn't take me down, it was kind of like he broke mentally, and
yeah.
you just feel it when you're wrestling someone. And then that second period when it was just I was on top and I slowly was itching away, and I looked at the clock and saw that there was 32 seconds left, and then I got his arm. It was kind of just it all kind of just fell into place.
I can be honest with you. After watching him, like I was excited to see how it would translate. And when, like I was saying earlier, with this Michigan State, the Rob Del Rosa, the Blue Raider, I mean, you got to come out feeling pretty good. I know those two doles kind of. I don't know. How'd you feel after those two doles? You get these two doles because they got this new rule where red shirts can wrestle. Well, obviously, you know that, but I mean, uh, for a total of a 15-5 first year at fifth at Ohio State with unattached and attached doing the duels, like was you how do you feel about your first year at Ohio State?
I think that my first year went great. I think I won the Michigan State Open to start off the year, and I really don't even think that was my best wrestling, and I won the tournament. So like to see how much I progressed over the year, I think those lumps I took in the dual meets were exactly kind of what I needed to show me like what that college, what that the high level stuff is like, and I lost to Jacob Moran from Indiana, who was
Yeah.
been a couple year starter there, and Braxton Brown, who was he's had some success. He's a tough
Oh,
dude.
absolutely.
So
Braxton Brown's 18th in the country whenever you wrestled him. And as for Moran, like that whole family's tough. And I honestly, when you lost to Moran, it was like 5-3, 5-2. I mean, you wrestled with Moran. I mean, I mean, been like you said, they're very experienced, been at this level for a while, and it's not like he smoked you, but it, you you're competing with these juniors. All right, Moran might even he might even be a senior, like 'cause
I'm
with his whole COVID
I'm
deal.
not sure. I just know he's been there for a while. He started the last
Yeah,
couple, so he's been around. He's had that college, that starting experience. So I think for me, it wasn't exactly those results that I wanted. I did. Of course, I didn't want those results. Those two losses, but I think they only they motivated me, and they helped me get to that
yeah.
next line. Keep working, and showed me where I need to be. So.
That's awesome, bro. Because I'll tell you what, like I think that's ever since that though. I feel like it's been like this kid's on fire. Like outside of literally to go to the U.S. Open and do what you did, like something had to hit you to where it was like this. I mean, you lost early enough to where like a lot of people would have been like, I don't want to have to wrestle 9 matches to get back for third and fourth. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it was just a bad day at the office. Like, but that's the type of man that like, man, I hope and pray my son grows up to have that mentality of like, nah, we're not done yet. Like, we're gonna the next best thing. And I always heard Coach Ryan say that like at the NCAA's, like I was always a huge Nathan Tomasello fan watching him, like when just growing up watching him, and well, Logan always got one, but at the same time, like you went and got and grinded for 9 matches to get the next best thing, bro. And I'm telling you that it's not many people are doing that. That I don't. It's a select few. I'd say 3% of wrestlers would have done what you did at the U.S. Open.
I appreciate you saying that, and it's like it goes back to what those coaches believe in and showing that they believe in me. When I stepped off the mat, I had Bo Jordan in my corner, and he gave me some words of advice. He gets some great pointers how I wrestled off my first match after I lost to Nicola Rivera, who's is a great wrestler. I had a just tough draw, but I come out the mat, and Tom didn't see my match because we had Buzakis and Mendez both wrestling down the floor, so he missed my match. But after like 10 minutes, he saw me and he was like, "Wait, did you win?" And he didn't, because he didn't see it. So I told him I didn't win, and he was like, "All right, well, you got 7." Or he was like, "How many matches you got to place?" So I counted them, and I was like 7. He was like, "All right, let's get third." And I was like, "All right, well." Once he said that, it was kind of just like even more motivation that I had to just take off and do whatever I could to try to place. So
And I'll give him that. And that's one thing I love about Coach Ryan. I do think he's the best thing that ever happened to Ohio State. I mean, the Cavelli Center, everything. Like, uh, have you got like out of them two duels that you did wrestle? Was any of them at home? Did you get to come through the crowd with the fire and the? Did you get to do that yet?
so this year is gonna be pretty cool. Like it's always been
Oh, dude.
from when I was this big. It's always been a dream to wrestle for Ohio State. So to be able to walk out of that tunnel, music of your choice,
Yeah.
all those fans screaming, fire going, you got it all.
It's intense. I get goosebumps watching you guys come out of there, man. Like when we watched Mendez come out and he was listening to Johnny Cash, like it was just like, oh, this kid, like you guys. I just feel like there are a bunch of old souls, man. Like even Nick Buzakis, when I was talking to him, was like, oh man, we were it's straight like '80s, '90s rock and roll, like, and it was just like it's just you guys are a different breed of men, and it's my gosh, is the future looking at it great, man. You got a song picked out that you're ready to walk out to?
I got a couple. I don't know which one yet, but like there's a song called "Flower" by Moby. It's like a
Yeah,
song. that Bryce Harper comes out to, and I thought about that one. There's a couple other good ones that I've thought about. I'm not really sure which one I'm going with yet, but it's got to be something that's like fires up the crowd, but also means something to me. And when I was younger, my dad took some boxing classes and stuff like that. So like they would do like at the end of the workout, they would do that. They would play that song and they would just do push-ups like to the beat like down up like that. And then he showed us that, and I thought it was pretty cool. And then when you see Bryce Harper do it, it's like Bryce Harper's a dog, so it's like, man,
He
he did that in the World Series. He walked out to the song, and everyone's going nuts. And I was like, well, I mean, that could be a pretty cool song to walk out to. So I always thought about that one. But some also thought about like some Cleveland artists, like like Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like I thought about doing
Ew, bro, now you're talking my language, big guy. You should do something like that. Like,
yeah,
that's my group. I've been jamming them since I was a kid, though. But they came out in like the mid '90s. So when I was growing up, like I
yeah.
was a big bump.
Yeah, so my dad showed me that music when I was probably 15, 14. I knew Tupac, I knew Biggie, but I never really knew much about Bone Thugs. And my dad started showing me some more of their music, and it's I mean, I love their music, so I thought that would be a cool one to walk out to. They're
It
they're
would.
they're
It
they're
would.
I don't know what song I would do, but something like that would be pretty cool.
Well, how far is like Lake Catholic from Cleveland?
It's like a 25-minute drive, but then it's like a
Bro, come out to Cleveland is the city where I come from, bro. Like that, you're 20 minutes from the like you gotta run to Cleveland. I mean, do whatever, but
no,
like
but yeah,
man, the
yeah.
shoe fits, bro.
That's what I got to. That's what I was thinking too. Like I gotta do something that's like Cleveland. Something that's like relates to me. So it's like it's a 15-minute drive from my house. So it's like I'm like right there. So I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. So
Hey, I'm up in your area all the time, man. I tell you what, I what's crazy because I work in Barberton, like Barberton, Akron area. So I mean, you're a little still further north of me, but uh, now, does Lake Catholic, in your honest opinion, like the future for Lake Catholic, still look pretty bright? Like, say, 5, 10 years down the road from now, you think there'll still be that school that you attended, that school that made you who you are?
I'm hoping that the school's still there. The recruiting classes for the schools have been kind of down a little bit the last couple of years. So I'm hoping the school's still going. I think they'll be fine. Yeah, I think they'll keep working through it. Every school kind of hits a low at some point. And but as for wrestling, I think our programs, we have really good potential to go up. And with our new coach Nate Skenesny, who was a two-time high school state champ, Ironman champ. He went to Iowa. And he was. I mean, he's a great coach. He's a great with young guys, and taking them under their wing. So it's something that's going to be cool to see. Kind of how what to watch it happen. So it's going to be. I really do think that he could elevate our team and elevate these youngins to success.
Now,
So
because that was actually my next question. Like, did you think that there was a fall off between losing Heibner to going over to Nate? Like, or do you think they're just as in good a hands as they were with Heibner?
Coach Hivner, he always had his great assistant coaches, and he always knew what he was talking about. He was an amazing coach for Lake Catholic for I want to say 20 24 years maybe. I think 24 years he was a coach at Lake Catholic, and he always had the company, or not the company, I'm sorry, the school's best of interest at heart. He always wanted what was best for Lake Catholic and what was best for his athletes. So to it's kind of two different people. Nate's young. It's definitely different. Coach Hifner was like a veteran. He knew he'd been around the block before, so it's a lot different. But it's definitely gonna be cool to watch a young guy like Nate who wants what's best for everyone, just like Coach Hifner. Take the program and try to do what he can to elevate that program to the next level.
Oh yeah, buddy. I like that. I like that because honestly, like I got a while to go yet, but I just want to make sure that I put my son in a school because I mean, hopefully he loves the sport. I'm not gonna pound it down his throat, like, but at the end of the day, like it's such a passion of mine. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing right now if I absolutely didn't love it. But uh, I want to make sure I put him in the right school, put him in the right place to where he can succeed and have the same opportunities that you guys have had to where if we hit it hard and we do it right. And out of all of that though, like for you to get to the level that you got, like coming in as a freshman, going 41-11, placing sixth in the state of Ohio, who's, in my opinion, you got your Pennsylvanias and Ohio's, and everybody does the comparison, but we'll even say, just for the sake of the matter, a top 3 to 5 school or state of wrestling. And what got you to that? Like, was it camps? Was it just the coaches that you had down there? Like, but I guess it might all play an effect, but like, what helped you the most to be able to step into a mat as a freshman and place sixth and go 41-11 in the
So I
state of
was
Ohio?
so I was always super competitive, and I looked up to my brother a lot. And I grew up, and I placed at all the state tournaments, and I never won a youth or junior high state title, but I always I placed at all those state tournaments, and I went to I went on national teams and all those kind of things. But I grew up watching my older brother, and saw the impact he made on the high school scene when he was a freshman. He beat Jordan Crace in the quarters, and then ended up taking fourth. Him beating Jordan Crace. I don't know if you ever watched that match. It's like he went into that match, and he was the underdog. He wasn't supposed to win that match. And Jordan Crace was a two-time state champ in Ohio. I don't know if you know. If
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Grace is a monster. I
Yeah,
never knew you. And your brother got him, huh?
So
Woo!
my brother was a 2 seed, and
That a boy.
he was the one. And my brother escaped, hit a fireman's, and got him to his back, and then kind of rode that 6 point move through the rest of the match, and upset him. So it was one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. So it was pretty awesome. So from seeing the impact he made right off the rip as a freshman, it made me want to be the exact same way, and go out there and believe that I could hang with any of these guys. So that was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So you go to Fargo, you go and you go to Ironman, you place seventh. Uh, which one of the two is the baddest is the baddest one on the planet in your opinion? Because I've heard Fargo, I've heard Ironman, and there's literally no in betweens. It's either Fargo or Ironman when I ask any high school wrestler what is it? And that honestly, I get it. It's like a 50-50 deal. Uh, but in your opinion, which one hit you as in like a, well, like this tournament has every guy. This is it.
I personally think it's Iron Man. I think that
Me too.
you go through that tournament. It doesn't I took seventh, and I wrestled a great tournament, and I still only took seventh. Everyone there is good. Everyone you wrestle is good.
Yeah,
My
they're all state champions. Like from just a different state. This is the PA state champ. Then you got the Florida state champ. You got, you know what I mean, the New Jersey state champ. Then and the Ohio. And, with being you, the Ohio guy, and like if you place in the top eight, like you're a D1 type of kid. Like, and that's just my opinion on. I agree with you though. I think Iron Man is. Granted, I've never been to Fargo, but I've watched it a whole bunch to know that it's no game. But uh, you taking seventh just solidifies even more of like you are where you need to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the losses I had at that tournament, or even some of my wins, my second round match was Jackson Joy, who's a two-time state champ. I beat him 3-0, and then
See,
my next round match was Mark Anthony McGowan, he's won Ironman, he's won Beast, he's won Preps a couple of years. Then I come back, I win some matches, then I face another Ohio State champ and Peyton Fenton, and lose that match 4-3 or 5-4, whatever it was, by 1 point. So it's another. Every kid you wrestle is tough. Every single kid you're gonna face is not gonna be like it's not gonna be an easy match. So that
now
was.
did you guys do the power aids? Did you do anything any other big ones outside of like the Fargos, outside of the Ironmans? Was there any power aids? What's the other one? Oh gosh, there's a pile of them. What's something on a rock?
No, we didn't do any of those. We did. It's not like as big like nationally, but it's a really really tough tournament. We get some good teams from Michigan, some good teams from Indiana, which is the Brexville Holiday Tournament. We get we
Yep.
get we get Dundee, we get Detroit Central Catholic. We get some good Indiana, Illinois schools, along with a bunch of tough teams from Ohio. So that tournament was usually pretty tough. I like that tournament because it was right after Christmas. A lot of people were still in town; they can come watch. So that was always like one of my favorite tournaments to go to as a kid, and then to be able to wrestle in it was really cool. So
Awesome. How'd you do? Pretty good out there? Did you fare pretty well at it?
it was my freshman year. I took fifth at at the tournament, and then sophomore year it was canceled. Or no, sophomore year wasn't canceled. Wait, I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm trying to think real quick. I think I went.
No, it's understandable because it can get confusing. Like even after like looking everything up, like your sophomore year and junior year, like I could understand why it would be a bundle like that. COVID put so like you boys went through it, man. You did.
Yeah, so I think it was. I took fifth again my sophomore year, and then my junior year was canceled, and then my senior year I didn't wrestle. There was no wrestle tournament.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
is it done for good, or was it just like, hey, we're taking a year off type deal?
I think it was a year off type deal kind of thing. So they were gonna run a different tournament with and they did end up running one at Milan Edison, but it wasn't like the same kind of teams. It was kind of just like a couple teams. Probably around like 15 teams, 20 teams. So that was definitely a different tournament. But I didn't wrestle in that because I was injured that week. So I took the week off. I had a tournament that I could miss because of Ironman. So I took that week off. To make sure I was ready for that end of the year push and not I didn't want to overdo it. So that was what I didn't get to wrestle. I didn't wrestle in that tournament. So
Yeah, it's understandable. That's understandable. And at the end of the day, like senior year was it was about going. It was about going and getting a state championship, if I'm correct, right? Like, I mean, that was like, hey, we're this is where our focus is going and locking up a state championship.
100%. I left that high school my junior year, and I mean, I set a clock. I mean, I set a clock in my notes, and not set a clock, but I wrote down the number, how many days it was for the next state tournament, and every single day I would change the number down one, and
Yeah,
every single day I would tell myself how many days I had until I could relive that moment and only change the result, and that was something that was definitely cool for me to look back and see, like I'd write down on my notebook how many days I had until while I'm reflecting on my day with wrestling. I believe in writing a lot too. I did it a lot in high school. I want to get back to writing a little bit more in college, but I would write down how many days, new messages for myself every single day, and then go back and read them before I went to bed and stuff like that. So it was those, that was huge for me. Was watching, every single day, counting down a day, and every single day getting closer and closer. And that my junior to senior year, that year felt like 100 years because I just wanted to get back there. I wanted to get back in the shot. I knew it was going to be there my senior year, and I just wanted to get back in there and win my title and you know go
it
represent.
was awesome, bro. We were eight to 12 rows up and got to see it live. So man, it was definitely cool to see you. So I'm glad we got to witness it and be a part of that for you. I know we're just up in the stands, but too, after everything that you went through with the COVIDs and that getting canceled, and then wrestling in this and not the shot. We'll say it that way in a nicer way, and then wanting to better yourself from that sixth place finish, the tough loss in the junior year, like so it was deserved, and it was cool to see you finally get it, man. It really was.
Thank you.
And I knew you were heading to Ohio State, so then it was like, hey, we this we got to root for this man. Like
Oh,
he's one of us now.
oh yeah, I've been a Buckeye my whole life. I've been watching Ohio State wrestling since I was probably 9 years old, 10 years old. Watching
Yeah.
watching Logan as a freshman beat Oliver was like probably one of the first college wrestling matches I remember. And
Nothing like sucking you in with that one because it
oh,
was like, did he win? Did he lose? Did he? You know what I mean? Like they legit made a roll over that little controversy at the end of that. But hey, he's a four timer and nobody can take that from him.
100%. I'm sitting there as not an 8-year-old kid watching that match. Obviously I wrestled at the time, but I didn't really watch college wrestling that much. And I loved Ohio State football at the time. And I look at the screen and see that match, and I'm like, man, I want to be there someday. And it's you say that kind of hoping it and wishing that it happens, but sometimes it's not everything happens like that. So it was cool for that to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. Whenever you went to that camp, brother, you must have had a hell of a camp. You really did because uh, for Tom Ryan to be like, hey man, we're gonna be in touch. So you must have went there and put some work in on some really good kids to uh to catch the eyes. Because how many kids go to are at a camp like that?
So when I went, there was probably around like 70, 65, 70 guys there. And it was like, some guys had, they were just, a lot of high school guys, young, old, guys that are just, they want to take a second look at or take their first look at. So someone like me, you know, they knew a little bit about me. They knew my results. They kind of saw a little bit of how I worked and what I stood for. But I went in there and I beat some guys I wasn't really supposed to beat, and I shocked a lot of those coaches. I was hitting cradles left and right, and Jaggers was all over that. Tom loved my work ethic. We did sprints at the end, and I won the sprints. So it's like it was like every little thing added up.
Yeah,
From the
absolutely.
start of that camp.
Jaggers is gonna dig on them. Have you worked with Sammy at all on them cradles?
Oh yeah, he's showing me a little bit. He does his crate a little bit different than Jaggers, so I'm kind of learning both and trying to
It's probably where did that go? I'm sure it getting to work with both of them. It's like, man, you're getting the best of both worlds. I mean, Jaggers winning two national championships off of being one of the baddest dudes in the country off of doing it, and then it's Sasso's just the savage that he is. Like he, I, I really hope he can bring one home this year, man. Because like I feel like that kid deserves it more than anybody. As just a staying at 49, could probably needs to be at 57 with his weight is. From what I hear, this is just hearsay. So I mean, who am I? But he is just an ultimate team guy, and we've all loved watching him, man. So I hope he gets it this year. I do.
Of course, yeah, of course we all do. We want to see him succeed, and we want to see him, win that national title. Now it's awesome that he's going to be on a world team too for U23. So
Yeah,
that's exciting. We're hoping he wins. We're hoping he brings that back and wins a world title. So that'd be awesome.
I know. I'm excited for him. Actually, I was reaching out to him, and I'm hoping we can link up. But I know he's got. I like whenever he got a U23s and stuff. Like I hate to, what I mean. You guys all do, man. Even yourself. Like you guys got a power thing. That's why I appreciate it. I really do. And honestly, with looking at like everything I looked up on you, like I think you got a hell of a story, man. Just from where you started and where you've worked and where you're at now to where I mean, brother, you're about to be the starter at the Ohio State University with some of the best recruiting classes in the last 3 years, and it it's something you should be very proud of, man. Because I can promise you, from watching you your senior year to where you are now, and again, like I think it's the third time I've said this today, and a knock on how good you were your senior year. It's just it's a testament of how far you've came, and I can't see where you take it, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I can't wait to get back on the mat. I can't wait to compete in Cavelli. Our first tournament again is probably going to be Michigan State. I'm assuming our schedule doesn't come out, but I'm super excited for that tournament if it ends up being that. And then dual meet season is going to be it's just going to be different. I'm excited. It'll be cool. Finally walking out of that tunnel. No matter if I'm the
Yeah,
starter. I'm hoping I'm the starter. Of course, I'm going to work to be the starter. Um, but even if not, just getting into matches in Cavalli, it's going to be a dream come true. So I'm hoping I'm the 125 starter. But nothing. It's all in God's hands. It's all part of the process. Everything happens for a reason. So just gotta believe in myself, and hopefully, like I said earlier, hopefully the stars align.
yes, sir. Man, keep that faith strong, brother, and keep working and grinding like you have been. And I promise you, you're not gonna fail. You won't. You're gonna continue. There's one way to do it, and the way that you're approaching it, the way that you speak about it is, man, it's got me even more pumped because losing Malik. Don't get me wrong. Like I've always been a big fan of Heinzelman. Loved what he did. He was always a guy that would be a blood round type of guy at the NCAA's, but never saw the podium. It was really sad to see him get hurt his final year here. But I think we're in hell of a good hands with you, big man. I really do.
I appreciate.
So I.
Yeah.
I don't see it going any way else, man. If you like I say, keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna be all right from 125 to heavyweight.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, sir. But man, I ain't gonna keep you much longer, brother. But listen, what I want to do, and this is the God's honest truth. Like, whenever you get time, because like I said, I know with the season going on and everything, but I'd like to link back up with you, man. Hopefully, get this podcast rolling. Because I mean, with it just getting started out, it's gonna take a little time to build, but hopefully, you keep building with that wrestling career. We can keep building this podcast. The next thing you know, man, we're both sitting on top of both of them podiums and get linked back up and just make sure you stay in touch, man. And we'll be there rooting for you, brother.
No doubt. I'll be sure. I'm gonna be reaching out. You'll always be able to reach out to me. So I'm excited. I was excited to come on here. So I appreciate the message, and I'm excited for this upcoming year.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, good luck, and I'll definitely be in touch, brother. And go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
All right, my man. Take care, bro.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir.